Real Madrid have now won the Champions League for a 14th time. Phenomenal achievement from them. As for Liverpool, commiserations to them. They could not get their revenge on Real Madrid after their defeat in 2018 in the Champions League final. However, before I review the match that happened yesterday, I have to first of all talk about the shocking, shambolic scenes outside the Stade de France, where basically UEFA officials had no idea how to organise a final and did not learn from shambolic organisations such as, well, UEFA themselves in the Euros in 2021, when in the Euro 2020 final, when England played Italy, the absolute chaotic scenes outside Wembley were horrific, and tons of fans that were not meant to be there who stormed the stadium, and there was just a huge amount of mess and rubbish outside, as well as a lot of scared fans because, like I said, there was just so many fans storming into Wembley Stadium, and then there was a massive ticketing problem, and of course that meant a lot of fans were scared and worried and anxious. There just was not enough security. This time around, similar sort of thing in the sense that UEFA could not organise a final and organise the police properly. And they blamed the Liverpool fans, saying that loads of them turned up without tickets or didn't turn up outside the ground earlier enough. But that's just complete lie. It's a complete fabrication of what actually happened, where the Liverpool fans behaved really, really well, completely without any fault whatsoever. They turned up to the game early. It's just that the French police and the UEFA officials could not organise the Liverpool fans. There was apparently no clear direction or indication for where the Liverpool fans to go. And for some reason, the Liverpool fans were held outside the ground for a very, very long period of time. And then random French people without any tickets were allowed to just storm into the stadium. It was complete carnage, and that does not, saying it was complete carnage, I'm sure doesn't even begin to describe what it was like. And the fact that the French officials and the police have the cheek to just chuck tear gas at the Liverpool fans and then blame them is shocking and horrific. A number of significant journalists were online explaining how the situation was horrific for them and it completely tarnished the game. Tons of Liverpool fans explaining the same thing as well. And it's just really sad and shocking to see, because this isn't necessarily a French police thing, because at Wembley, the organisation was horrific. I think in that final, the police and officials didn't expect the sheer amount of fans without tickets to just suddenly turn up at the game, and there just was not enough security. Whereas here, it seemed like there was a lot of police. They just couldn't organise where the fans should go. And they just held the fans outside the stadium for no reason whatsoever and then chucked tear gas at them. Absolutely horrific. I can completely understand why it just tarnished the final, because with the football, it's not just about the game and analysing the players, the teams and the tactics and the transfers. It's about who you go with. It's about your match day experience going up and down the country. And for many of these Liverpool fans, they'd have gone up and down the country in the UK, have had phenomenal experiences, whether that's in the Premier League or in Europe. So for them to be treated so horrifically is appalling and really, really bad from UEFA. So that's my little mini rant over about the situation before the game. In terms of the final itself, from my point of view as a neutral, it wasn't a great final. Now, I know many finals aren't, but this one, it just didn't seem like there was a lot of action. What I will say, though, is that Liverpool, for me, were definitely the better team. I think they controlled the game for longer periods. They had definitely more chances. And it kind of just showed by the stats, given that Liverpool had 24 shots, 9 on target, and had 9 blocked shots. And they had an XG of over 2, whereas Real Madrid have an XG of 0.8, so below an XG of 1. And Real Madrid only had 4 shots, 2 of them being on target. Now, what some people might say is, well, what about Benzema's chance that was given offside? That was, I mean, at the time it was VAR. It seemed like it took like over 5 minutes to decide whether that was offside or not. Apparently, according to the rules, It's only if it's a deliberate pass from an opposition player that would make Benzema onside. And it definitely wasn't a deliberate pass from Fabinho. It could just deflected off him. So in my opinion, I do think the officials got it right. They just took way long to get the decision right. But anyway, the second half comes, Real Madrid scores, and it's Vinicius Jr. with a tap in. I mean, some will say, oh, Trent was out of position, oh, his defending's really bad yet again. But I still think Trent is still a phenomenal defender. He's amazing going forwards. Just maybe perhaps he just switched off at the wrong moment. And it's so cruel because Liverpool have been so phenomenal this season, especially, well, going forward and defensively. In these big moments, in these big finals, you just switch off for one moment and then you get punished. And that's what happened. Then Real Madrid, from there, they defended really, really well. They had a lot of players in front of Courtois. I mean, Eder Militao, he's not the greatest defender in the world, let's be honest. But he stepped up to the plate and performed well in the final. He did what he had to do. Carvajal was excellent as well. Casemiro was brilliant, especially in the second half. And then, of course, Courtois made some phenomenal saves. I think the save that will stand out for many people, including myself, is the one he made against Salah in the second half, where Salah had a phenomenal first touch. He took it past the defender, and his shot was deflected off Courtois' arm and then went out for a corner. That, I think, was the massive key chance. And in the end, Liverpool couldn't find the net. It's heartbreak for them. Liverpool have played every game possible this season. I think it's 63 games. It's certainly over 60 games. And they've only lost 4 times. Yes, it's been a disappointing end, but it's not been a disappointing season at all. They play phenomenal football. They have an inspirational manager. They have a squad full of talented players who play with their heart on their sleeves, but have also the focus and composure to perform at such high levels. The Liverpool fans, of course, it will hurt now, but they can be so proud of their team. It just wasn't meant to be in Paris. Yes, it's been disappointing end to the season, like I said, but they still won the FA Cup and the League Cup, which is not something to be sniffed at. So fair play to Liverpool. I think they will come back again next season. Now, it's the day after, and apparently on social media, there are rumours that Mane is going to leave, potentially for Bayern Munich. He only has 1 year left on his contract, so I guess if Liverpool do want to cash in, it has to be now. However, you wouldn't say that they're going to potentially miss him that much because, yes, although Mane has really stepped up, especially since Jota and Diaz have signed, and Liverpool have signed Jota and Diaz, and this is what Liverpool seems to do. They seem to assign the replacements half a season or a season before they actually players need to be replaced. I have no doubt that Liverpool will go again next season. They're a fantastic team and fair play to them. As for Real Madrid, they just seem to do it time and time again for them. There's just something about the Champions League that they just step up to the plate when needed. Not even necessarily for a 90-minute period, but just in 30-minute, 40-minute, maybe even like an hour, 60-minute spells. They just step up to the mark and perform at such a high level. This Real Madrid team won't go down as a great Real Madrid team, but it will go down as having phenomenal players. Courtois in goal, and then Benzema up front with Vinicius Jr. on the wing. Brilliant from Real Madrid. 14 Champions League titles now, and La Liga. Carlo Ancelotti, it's so weird to think that, a short while ago he was at Everton, and then now he's winning La Liga and the Champions League with Real Madrid. So, fair play to them. I mean, do they deserve it? I think Liverpool were the better team, but you have to say Real Madrid defended very, very well. It's heartbreak for Liverpool, but they've still had a brilliant season, but congratulations to Real Madrid. So that's my review of the Champions League final. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.